hang on. There we go. Is that better? Well, no audio. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, in the chat. I'll have to edit that one out at the when I actually publish this video. Guys, hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan, and apparently I don't know how to unmute microphones, but we've done that now. I think I fixed that. Yeah, guys, it's been an interesting week, a very, very interesting game week for me. I hope you guys are all absolutely smashing it this game week. I just had to update my game week points there. I think that's correct. That might be somewhere around... Right, I think I've got about that. Maybe I should double check somewhere. Let's check on FPL Gameweek just to see exactly what my points are at the moment. That's my YouTube league. Let's just go on the Content Creators League. 71 points. Yeah, 71 points. So there we go, guys. We're on 71 points, which has brought us to 17th. 17th in the world. This is not a drill, guys. This is not a drill. We are over 9 million players, 9.1 million players, 9.2 million players, whatever it is right now. We are up to 17th in the world. That is special. This is a very, very special season for me. It's a once in a lifetime season for me. It's incredible. So first of all, guys, yeah, thank you for your support throughout this year and following me on this journey. It has been a wild one, and it's once in a lifetime. Guys, yeah, a few of you guys have noticed as well, new haircut. Yeah, a little bit too short. I think I've overdone it. You know, I prefer having slightly longer hair, but we've gone a little bit shorter this time. I'll perhaps grow it out. So yeah, that one's out of the way. Won't talk about my hair. That's not what we're here for. But one thing I did want to talk about before we get into it, and we are going to be talking all things transfer targets, chip strategies, fixtures, where they're, you know, we've got that Man City Wolves game. Is that going to be in game week 36? Is it going to be in game week 37? We're going to talk about injuries as well. I know you guys are probably going to want to talk about Bukayo Saka and what his injury situation is there. So I'm going to try and give you a bit of an update and just kind of my opinions on how the rest of the season is going to pan out a little bit and how we can kind of take the information that we have to our advantage. And that's what it's all about. But before we go any further, I do just want to talk very, very briefly just about the team copying situation, because I know that has blown up, particularly on Twitter and Reddit recently. It's gone quite wild about that and actually become a little bit of a controversial topic. So I do just want to kind of clear a few things up and you know, but before I do that, I just want to first of all apologize, because obviously in a deadline stream, it wasn't last week, it was the week before, so like, you know, just over a week ago, I did a deadline stream and I kind of called out a couple of people for you know, copying my team throughout the season. I do just want to say that, you know, I kind of in that clip I was kind of saying, you know, like what kind of loser would copy a fantasy team of a creator, and you know, I thought I was saying it in a jokey way, but obviously that has come across in a bad way. So first of all, you know, if you copy teams of creators or whatever, I don't think you're a loser. I really don't. You know, it's something that people do. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not even annoyed by it, really. And I think I maybe came across as someone who was kind of annoyed by the situation. I'm not surprised by it. It's something that's happened for a long time. I know Andy Let's Talk FPL, for example, he had a situation at the beginning of, well, last season and this season, to be fair, where there were thousands of people with identical teams to him, which, you know, he wasn't happy about, and that he kind of changed things up. So he didn't show his final teams for a little while there. So, you know, it's not a particularly new topic, but I just want to say I'm not annoyed by it. I don't actually hate or dislike anyone who does copy my team, obviously, but I am very, very firm. I'm very, very firm on the stance that I do think it is a very dishonourable thing to do. I think it is pretty disrespectful to people in, like, if you're competing in mini leagues, particularly if you're competing in cash mini leagues, for example, the other people in your mini leagues, I just don't think it's fair on those people. I really don't. And I won't change my mind on that one. I'm sure that opinion is held by a lot of people. The idea of FPL content, I know a lot of people say, well, you know, why are you putting these videos out there if you don't want people to copy you? It's not quite that like that. Obviously, I really do. Obviously, it's a huge compliment if you guys have the faith in me as an FPL manager to want to have the same team as me. But the idea of FPL content and FPL videos, and any FPL content creator will say exactly the same thing. You're not meant to copy, you know, move for move. It's more about trying to give you some tips and some advice, and for you to kind of digest that information and kind of come to your own conclusions based on the information or the opinions that us guys kind of try and provide for you. And, you know, interestingly, I'm probably not even giving the best advice out there. I'm sure there's lots of other people giving far better advice than me as well. So, just take all of the information that you get from content creators and, make your own minds up about it. Because at the end of the day, if you're competing in mini leagues and but you're basically tricking and fooling the other people in your mini leagues into thinking you are, making your own decisions, where actually you're using someone else's decisions. So, look, I was out of order, calling people out, particularly naming people and saying, like calling people losers, for example. It was meant to come off as a joke. It obviously came off a little bit differently to that. I don't think anyone's a loser. I understand why people do it, but I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm honest. I don't think it's a very honourable thing to do, and that's my opinion on that. And the big thing really was on Friday. So the Friday just gone, I looked into the top 50. So the top 50 players in FPL. Obviously, I was sat at 51. And 5 of the top 50, so 10% of the top 50 FPL players had an almost identical season to me. It's not just, I'm not talking identical transfers since the last wildcard. I'm talking from game week 1, only 1 or 2 changes, mostly due to budget restrictions throughout the whole season. Identical teams. Now, thankfully, I've overtaken 4 out of 5 of those people just by virtue of not showing my moves. So, it shows what you can do by just hiding your final transfer moves, your final captaincy decisions, and forcing people to make their own decisions. I know a lot of you guys are fantastic FPL managers, but some people who do just copy teams, they actually don't have a clue what they're doing without being able to directly copy someone else. So, and it's kind of proven. I'm now overtaken 4 out of 5, and by the end of the game week, I could have even overtaken the 5th one just by virtue of them having to make their own decisions. So, yeah, it is what it is. Like I say, it's complimentary. I take it as a compliment. I'm not annoyed by people. It is what it is. And I think we'll leave that one there. I just want to put that one behind me. Look, I don't get why people. I don't get the fun in it, but I understand why people do it because they want to win mini leagues, right? Whatever. But yeah, I would just advise you guys. I would advise you guys, if you are gonna copy someone's team, just don't trick the people in your mini leagues. Like, just be upfront and say, "Oh, I'm following another creator." Don't trick other people, because I think that is a little bit that's a little bit bad. But whatever. Right, guys, let's talk about FPL. That's what we're here for. This game. First of all, quickly on my game week. Like I said, we're up to 71 points so far. We are almost done with the game week, but there are still 2 games to play. We've got Leeds versus Crystal Palace this evening. I'm sure a few of you guys have got a Mateta, who I believe is starting. I believe that has been leaked and Mateta is starting, so congratulations to you guys. And of course, Rafinha as well. A lot of you guys have Rafinha as well, so that's going to be interesting as well. Later on in the week, we have got that Manchester United versus Chelsea game. That's going to be an interesting one for sure. I know some of you guys are on Havertz captain, some of you guys are on Mount captain, so those points have still got to come in. I've got Mount captain there, who I'm hoping is going to do well there. I think the good thing about Mount in particular is he is very, very nailed, and he's playing well as well. I think Havertz could potentially be rotated in that second game. I think there's potential for it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'd say Havertz is more likely to start than not, but it's far from guaranteed. So yeah, that's that situation. If you've got other players, Reece James. I think Reece James is looking pretty well to. He looks like pretty likely to start as well in that second game as well, because apparently it's not a new injury for Reece James. It is a situation where we've kind of got this recurring injury. And, I said this on Twitter, I actually feel really sorry for the player, because Reece James is clearly a very, very quality football player, but he's just been absolutely pelted with this recurring injury that he keeps coming back. He comes back, he plays a couple of games, he gets injured again, and it's really frustrating for him. And in that game against West Ham, it was a situation where Reece James has said to the manager, I'm feeling a flare up in the injury. I feel like if I go and play this game, there might be a reoccurrence of this injury. It's not feeling too good today, but it's not because it's a new injury. It's more just kind of managing his load, making sure that he's not playing too many games, not kind of overexerting himself until he can get over this injury, which hopefully he can do. It might take a little bit of time. It might take over the summer for him to, properly recover. It's not easy when Chelsea have this many games to play. He can't play all of them. He is going to have a little bit of a rotation, which is exactly what we saw in the West Ham game. But that's not to say that he is out. That's not to say that he's out. It's not to say he's gone. I just think we probably need to just kind of consider that if you bring in a Reece James right now, I'm not saying he's a bad player to even bring in right now. If you have Reece James, if you're bringing him in, you kind of just got to understand that he's not always going to play. He's not going to play every single game. He's not going to play 90 minutes every game. He might not even play in the right wing back position where you want him to play, because that is much more physically demanding as a role for him. So look, let's see what happens with Reece James. I don't think he's an automatic sell. I just think we need to kind of keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the news, see what's going on with him in each given game week. By the way, blackcurrant squash emoji. I saw someone in the chat say, how do I get the blackcurrant squash emoji? You can do that by joining as a channel member. I'm not going to promote that much because, you don't have to. The option is there. If you want to join as a channel member, you can support the channel. It's only 99p, so less than £1 a month. That's the cheapest I could physically set it to. YouTube will not let me set it any cheaper. If you'd like to do that, you do get access to emojis, and I can see your name a little bit better in the chat and stuff like that as well. So yeah, but yeah, that's how my week's going. That's the update on Reece James and Chelsea and this, that, and the other. There's probably going to be a little bit of rotation in that Manchester United game, but hopefully we're going to get a nice big score and get some good points from all of our players for Chelsea. So there we go. That's the Chelsea situation. So let's move on. Let's move on to the fixtures, because as of this moment, as of recording this stream, and I've been keeping an eye on this all day today, I really thought we were going to get a fixtures update. I thought we were going to get it today. I thought we were going to get it on Friday, but then when it didn't happen on Friday, we didn't get it. So first of all, I know a lot of you guys will be saying, don't Liverpool have a blank in game week 37? Yes, but no. That the game between Liverpool and Southampton is, I don't want to say 100% because strange things happen, but I am so super confident that game, the blank game, the missing game between Liverpool and Southampton is going to occur in the midweek slot of game week 37. There isn't, as far as I can see, there is physically nowhere else that fixture can go. They can't put it in game week 34. That's just already, it was nearly done, so that's not going to happen. Game week 35, Liverpool play in the midweek slot because they play in Champions League. In game week 36, Liverpool play in the midweek slot because they play Champions League. So there's no space for it to go in 34, 35. No, wait. There's no place for it to go in 34 or 35. 36, is where they already have a double, so they can't do it in 36. So 34, no. Champions League. 35, no. Champions League. 36, no. They already play against, Aston Villa in the midweek slot in 36. Game week 38, there is no midweek slot because it is just one day. It's only one day in game week 38. Is all the games kick off at the exact same time on a Sunday. So that's not going to happen. It's going to be in game week 37. It's going to be in game week 37. It has to be. There's nowhere else for it to go. So plan, guys, with the assumption that Liverpool versus Southampton is going to take place in game week 37. I am super confident about that. You can crucify me later if I'm wrong. I'm that confident. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Got some lovely some glares coming in through my window at the moment when I lean forward. That's a nice effect. So that's going to go in there. The only game where we don't know yet is, where is Man City versus Wolves going to go? That's the final question that we need an answer to this season. After that, the whole fixture schedule is going to be locked in. We should have found out about it by now. I don't know what's taken them this long. The longer it drags out, the more you think it might actually occur in 37. And there has been hints. I think someone said on Sky Sports, which is a sports TV channel in the UK. I don't know if it's an internationally known thing, but it's a sports channel in the UK. When they were doing the coverage of the games at the weekend, someone did say that it was gonna kind of go in the last week. Does the last week mean game week 37? That was that suggestion that maybe it is going to happen in game week 37. It's not confirmed, but that is kind of hinted at. Do these TV presenters, when they kind of made these comments flippantly, do they actually know any more than we do? Probably not. There's not been any official Premier League announcement. Or do they have inside information and do they know it's going to be Game Week 37? Or were they just making a flippant comment saying it's going to be in the last week, which we have assumed to be Game Week 37. Game Week 36 always seems like the most obvious answer for me. Now, different people have said different things. There's been actually a little bit of a contention among the FPL Twitter community. Different people kind of thinking it was going to be one way. Different people think it's going to be another way. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. Someone says that in the chat, didn't Ben Crellin tweet that the official Wolves page had the date for the game to be in 36? Yep, that's what we thought on Saturday. By Sunday, everyone's mind had been changed and now thought it would be Game Week 37. It's going to be an interesting one. But basically, guys, who it's really going to affect is the free hitters. And what I want to say is I don't really think you guys want to worry too much about where it's going to be, because it's not going to impact you that much. If it falls in Game Week 36, for example, it's not like suddenly you're not going to want you're not going to want Man City players in Game Week 36, is it? It's just because Man City players don't have a double game week, that doesn't suddenly mean you don't want Man City players. You're still going to want to have them there in Game Week 36, aren't you? If you've got a Cancelo or a Laporte in your team and you've got these Man City players playing single game week, Newcastle at home, you're still going to be pretty happy with that. You're still going to want to play these players. You're still going to want to bet. If you're bench boosting in that week, for example, you're still going to want to play that bench boost just to get Man City on one game. Still more than worthwhile. The only thing it's really going to impact is free hitters. And I think if we do end up finding out that the Man City versus Wolves game slots into Game Week 37, the Game Week 37 midweek, if that is the case, I would potentially suggest that would be the best time to free hit. I think that would be a pretty good free hit week in that case, which is kind of interesting because it kind of emerges as a good free hit week, because generally speaking, other than that, I'm kind of struggling to pick out a really good free hit week. I'm kind of struggling with that a little bit. Game Week 36, it seems like it's so easy to get a full team of doublers. Is it really worth a free hit in there? Maybe. If you absolutely hate the doublers that you have, then fair enough. Maybe you could go for a free hit in 36. But certainly in Game Week 37, if Man City does fall into there, you can load up 3 Man City players. Man City will be going head-to-head with Liverpool in those final games, so they'll have to play at a pretty high strength. They would have had their Champions League semi-final games will be in the past as well, so that would be pretty good for them there. It would be a good situation to go all in on some of the stronger Man City players. Go for a De Bruyne, maybe even captain him in Game Week 37. If Man City are the only major team doubling in 37, you're probably going to want to captain someone like Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to be he could become a pretty essential player for that game week. So yeah, certainly 37. If that's where this fixture lands, that is a real good thing for those of you who still have a free hit left. And as someone who doesn't have a free hit left, I really just kind of hope that the City game falls into Game Week 36. I'm really kind of hoping for that, because if it goes into 37, it's not going to bode well for me. I'm definitely going to drop points. I mean, I'm going to drop. I've got no chips left anyway, so I know I'm going to drop ranks. Like, it's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to maintain this. That's absolutely fine. But there'll be more damage to be done by free hitters if they can free hit 3 Man City players in a double Game Week 37. So yeah, that is something to bear in mind, I think, guys. That's probably going to be the only impact. Aside from that, I really wouldn't worry too much about when this fixture is going to go, because it's not really going to affect you. All it's going to affect you is when you use your free hit, and you can use that, pretty sporadically, pretty spontaneously anyway. You don't have to plan weeks in advance for it. You could just say, yeah, okay, I know where the fixtures are now. Let's pop the free hit up. You can do that at a moment's notice, and that's going to be pretty good for you guys. In terms of other chips, triple captains. I mean, we want to talk about triple captains. I mean, the Game Week 36 seems like a good triple captain week, doesn't it? Liverpool, against Spurs and Aston Villa could be a pretty good one to go for. Go for Salah. Like it's an easy choice. Just go for Salah for when he has a double game week. Salah's only got one double game week left in the entire season, and that is in game week 36. So that's going to be a good opportunity as long as you're not using other chips in that week. That would be a good week to use that triple captain. And also if you don't have a free hit, and maybe that Man City game does go into 37. Then maybe you do a triple captain on De Bruyne in a double game week 37. And those are, I would say, are the two main opportunities for a triple captain. Aside from that, it's kind of difficult to give advice on when a triple captain might be used, to be honest. Like, obviously, you can use it whenever you want. At the end of the day, you use your triple captain where you don't just like your captain, you absolutely adore your captain, right? You think your captain's going to obliterate the game week. 36 and 37, they stick out to me. Double game weeks, always the best times to use triple captain. If you can't do that, then you may have to go freestyle with it a little bit, and maybe I can't help you so much with that one. In terms of the other chips, wildcard, guys, if you haven't used your wildcard yet, you really, really need to be thinking about using it. You really need to be thinking about using it because we are really running out of time, and the later you leave it, the later you use your wild card, the less weeks you get to take advantage of your brand new sparkling team. If you're waiting until game week 36, game week 37, you only get to use your brand new team for 3 weeks, for 2 weeks. It's not worth it. Get the most out of your wild card, guys, particularly if you don't, unless you absolutely adore your team, unless you absolutely love your team, in which case maybe you can even save your wild card for game week 38 and treat it like a bonus free hit. So you've essentially got 3 free hits in the season if you use your wild card in game week 38, and just use your wild card as a 1 game week only thing. If you love your team, but I would advise you guys to use if you still have it. I know not many of you do, and who can blame you? Gotta have used it by now, really. But use it as soon as you can, because we are running out of time now. Particularly if you've got other chips, you can only use 1 chip per week. Remember, you can't use free hits back to back, but any other chips combinations you can use back to back. You can use a wild card 1 week, free hit next week, bench booster next week, and triple captain next week, game week. But we are running out of time, so get those chips used. And what's the other chip that I haven't spoken about yet? Spoke about free hit, triple captain, wild card. There's one more. It's the bench boost. The bench boost is interesting, and I kind of do want to talk about the bench boost. I do want to talk because I think there is potential traps here. I do think there's potential traps here. And I just don't want you guys to get sucked into any bench boost traps. We've got a quick super chat here from Giandre first. Worth long-term, Salah, Son, Saka, that's a lot of S's. I feel like a snake. Salah, Son, Saka. Salah, Son, Saka, Havertz, Coutinho. Worth it long term. I mean, yeah, that as a midfield 5 looks pretty good. Havertz will probably get a little bit of rotation, and maybe Coutinho towards the end of the season as well. But Salah, Son and Saka certainly are players that are good to take through to the end of the season, in my opinion. I'll be more than happy to take all of them right the way through to game week 38. All teams have lots to play for, which is something I'm about to touch up on, guys. So, you guys have probably already noticed in your FPL teams that rotation season has started. It happens at the end of every season when teams have less and less to play for. For example, we saw Newcastle. We know Newcastle are now very, very safe from relegation. They've absolutely killed it since January. They've come up the tables. They are not relegation threatened anymore. They are just going to sit in midfield and in mid-table and go again next season. They've got nothing to play for, and therefore they could afford to rest a couple of their players, look after a couple of their players, give different players a little bit of opportunity to show what they can do. They can afford to do that because they're not competing for anything anymore. And we saw that. Chris Wood benched, Fabian Schär benched. So we had, obviously, Joe Linton go into the forward position. We had to try him out there. We saw Jamal Lascelles, club captain, of course, for a long while at Newcastle, brought back into the team to see what he can do. There is going to be a little bit of that for everyone, for every team, because rotation season has started. It started. Teams are in different competitions. Teams, particularly the mid-table teams, have less and less to play for. They want to try different stuff out. They can use these games basically as friendlies, as practice matches, as tester matches to try out some different stuff. And that is what happens every single year to the mid-table clubs in particular. So because of that, when we're going for bench boosts, particularly for double game weeks, we're going to be drawn into a lot of double game week teams. So, for example, let's use who's like a mid-table team at the moment who don't have too much to play for. Okay, well, I mean, let's use Aston Villa for example. So Aston Villa, they've got 2 double game weeks in 36 and 37. Now, even though Aston Villa players are due to play a lot of games in that period, and rightly so, our minds go, target Aston Villa. Depending on what player we're talking about, if there's positions in the Aston Villa team where there is, a lot of players in reserve, there's players who can come in and fill that slot very easily, or if there's young players, I know Aston Villa have some really good young players, and these young players are going to get a go. They're going to get a run out. They're going to get some game time, particularly over these double game weeks where Aston Villa have a lot of games in a shorter period of time. They've got nothing to play for. They're not forced to play at full strength every game. There's no real benefit to playing at full strength every game. So we are going to see a little bit of rotation creep in there. So this is why it can potentially be a bit of a trap, because what our minds might say is, okay, let's load up on Aston Villa players. I really want to go for a Watkins and a Coutinho and a Ramsey. I want to go all in. I want to get these Aston Villa players. And then suddenly you find that your dream double game week players are now actually only single game week players because they only played one of the 2 matches. And that is something that is not what we want really at all, and it kind of makes you think, well, I may as well have just gone for some good players in general. I may as well have gone for a Bukayo Saka instead of a Coutinho, for example. I may as well have gone for someone else, like a player who plays for a team with a lot to play for. Now, for that reason, I am actually liking the look of Everton a little bit more, because Everton are not in the same luxury position as an Aston Villa or a Newcastle or any other mid-table team. They're not in the same luxury position whereby they can afford to rest players. Everton are in trouble. They're in trouble, guys. And Everton fans, you all know exactly the situation. It's on a knife edge, right? And you're going to have to play your full strength team every game. So across the double for Everton, in contrast to Aston Villa, Everton actually have to go full strength. So they're going to have to play Gordon as much as they physically can, which automatically puts in my mind, Gordon better pick than Ramsey instantly. That seals that for me, because Ramsey can be rotated. Gordon, they can't really afford to rotate him. Richarlison, particularly with whatever is going on with Calvert-Lewin at the moment, man alive. They can't afford to rest Richarlison. They can't afford to rest their best players in general. So for that reason, Everton players might actually be, better to target. I know they're not as good players. You would probably much rather have in your team, Ollie Watkins or a Coutinho. Maybe you prefer those players to a Richarlison, but what Richarlison gives you is something that Aston Villa can't give you, and that's guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed game time. There's no such thing, but they give you a strong indication that they will play, and that is a power in itself, a real power, and something that we really do need to keep an eye on, the teams that have stuff to play on. So that is one trap potentially that you guys can fall into if you going too hard on Game Week 36, particularly if you guys are looking to bench boost in Game Week 36. You are going to be tempted by players like Ramsey. You are going to be tempted by some of the cheaper players, some of the cheaper forwards. Maybe you're bench boosting in 37. You're going to be tempted to go for Crystal Palace. Remember, Crystal Palace, they are mid-table right now. They're not going to get any European places. They're not going to get dragged into the relegation battle either, are they? So a Mateta, for example, a player you probably think, great for a double game week, nice cheap player, amazing stuff, and then we get a rotation in there. Very, very possible. It's going to happen. The other big trap that I think a bench boost can force you into, and I didn't really consider this one before until this weekend, where I did kind of, on Twitter particularly, I do try and talk to as many of you guys as possible. I'm very active on Twitter, and I try and reply to most of the stuff that comes my way on Twitter to try and help you guys out as much as I can. And a lot of people were saying, I'm going to bench boost in game week 36, for example. I'm going to do a -4 in game week 38, in game week 35. I'm going to do a -8 in game week 36 for a -12 total to get my perfect bench. Okay, you just spent 12 points to get a bench boost. Now, how much is a bench boost worth typically? How many points do you typically get for a bench boost? 15 points, 20 points, probably, somewhere around there. I mean, average is probably anywhere between 12 and 18 points, right? So if you're spending 12 points for a potential 3 or 4 point gain, just to get the double game week players in, just to get those cheap the cheap double game players, the cheap striker options or whatever, is that actually any better than the single game week players that you've already got? Possibly not, particularly if there is kind of rotation potential there as well. So what I would say on that is don't force the bench boost. Don't force the bench boost. If the bench boost is just genuinely not on, and it's gonna take a lot of hard work to get to the bench boost, it's gonna take you a big old hit to get to a bench boost. You kind of have to just say, is it worth doing all this? Is something that I've got already, is that gonna do me, a 10-point bench boost? Because at a certain point, you are going to have to accept that maybe maybe I've waited a little bit too long for my bench boost. If I haven't planned it enough by this point, if I haven't planned it in advance and I'm having to make panicked minuses to make a good bench boost, maybe just take a nice 10-point on the bench. I mean, you never know. A single game week player that you have in game week 36. So say you've got a Wout Weghorst, for example, on a bench or for game week 36. And he's going to be on your bench in game week 36. You're thinking, should I take a -4 to get Weghorst out and bring in someone like Ollie Watkins? We can do a straight swap, Weghorst to Ollie Watkins. There is every chance of you taking the -4 to do that, Ollie Watkins getting 2 points in one game and 0 points in the other because he doesn't play. That is perfectly reasonable. That's perfectly possible. Or you could not take the hit and you could stick with Weghorst, and you never know. Burnley in this real dire situation where they're desperately trying to escape relegation, and every year they manage to escape relegation. It's what Burnley do. They play against Aston Villa at home, who have nothing to play for, and they actually go there and beat them 2-0. Weghorst maybe doesn't get a goal, maybe he gets an assist. And that's 5 points for you right there. You didn't have to take a -4 to do that. You've got a cheaper player because Weghorst is cheaper than Watkins, and you just got 5 points out of it. That's a net. What did I say? 2 points for Watkins. So yeah, 4 points. So yeah, that's a 7-point net gain. Just there, easy 7-point net gain by not doing anything. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Sometimes doing nothing is your friend. Unfortunately, I have to be honest with you guys, and I wish I could say something different. I do genuinely believe that the best opportunities for a bench boost are behind us. And I could be wrong on that one. It wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong about something. It wouldn't be the last time I've been wrong about it. But if I'm brutally honest, bench boosters don't really worry me. I don't think, I'm obviously, I have no chips left. I'm a little bit worried about certain things happening, people using chips and overtaking me. That's how it works. I decided to use my chips earlier. I took the advantage to try and get an early lead, and now other people have the heads up on me. That's fine. But I'm not actually too worried about the bench boost. The bench boosters, because I do think that people have just as much chance of overcommitting to it, breaking their team up over it, and actually going pretty badly. So yeah, my advice to you guys is just don't force it. A chilled out 10-12 points could be a fine bench boost. It's either that, or if it's between that and taking like -4s, -8s to get players like I don't know, who are you going to get in? Eddie Nketiah, maybe. You're looking at him at the moment. Maybe he gets rested in one of those games and maybe he doesn't score in the other. 2-pointer right there, and you're taking a -4 for it. It's going to be 2 forwards on the bench really in game week 36, isn't it? So you're probably looking at Pukki, Nketiah, Mateta, João Pedro at Watford. If you're taking -4s for all these players, I can't see it. I can't see it paying off, really. I'd rather just stick to a single game week player that you've already got. Really, that's what I would do anyway. That is what I would do. So, there we go, guys. Yeah, that's kind of my spiel. Just chill out about it. Don't overcommit, and just be aware of rotation risk teams. I mean, maybe we should bring up the Premier League table and just like have a look through what kind of teams are not going to be playing for much. I think that might be a kind of useful thing to do, to be honest. Let's. I know you can't see what I'm seeing right now, but I'm just going to get up the Premier League table. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of the screenshot and bring up the table. Here it is. So, yeah, you basically know that Manchester City and Liverpool, they're going to go pretty much full strength for the rest of the season. They're competing for the Premier League title. We know that. I don't need to tell you that. That's just the situation. That is what's happening there. If we go a little bit lower, we've kind of got Arsenal, Spurs, Manchester United. Would you say Manchester United are still in the race for top 4? What do you reckon? I don't know. Sabil asking about triple captains. Yeah, 36 on Salah, 37 if Man City double in 37, maybe a De Bruyne there. But you can go back and I spoke a little bit more about triple captains. If you are joining late, I did speak about all the chips in a little bit of detail. But yeah, going down the table, we've got the Liverpool and the Man City. They're going to go toe-to-toe for the rest of the season, unless one gets clear by the final day. Can't really see that happening. Then they're going to have to go pretty strong all the way. So don't expect, people kind of baiting Liverpool rotation. They can't. They have to win the Premier League. They want to win the Premier League in front of fans, They want to do it in the non-COVID year. They've done it. They've already achieved it, of course. But now they want to do it in style, in front of the fans, full stadiums, all of that jazz. That's what they want right now. That's what they want. So they want to do it properly. They want to win the Premier League in style. Man City, exactly the same. They want to win the Premier League every season. It's their bag, right? It's just what Man City do. So yeah, they're going to be pretty strong all the way. So forget them. They're full strength. They're safe to pick from. Well, Man City are never safe to pick from. But Liverpool certainly. 3 players for the rest of the season from Liverpool. You cannot go wrong. We're kind of talking about Manchester United. A few people in the chat saying Manchester United competing for Champions League. We don't think so. Okay, fine. But even on that, Manchester United are still competing for European places. And that is something that you need to remember as well. Just because a team is not competing for Champions League, that doesn't mean there's not other competitions that they're competing for. We've got West Ham, we've got Wolves there. Those teams, Manchester United, they're going to want to have the European places as well. I probably should talk about Chelsea before we go any further down the table. Chelsea are a weird one because you do get the impression that a couple of bad results and Chelsea could get dragged into the, potentially not finishing third, potentially finishing fourth. Chelsea, even if you don't think they're going to drop out into 5, Chelsea are going to want to finish third. It means that they don't have to qualify for the Champions League. They don't have to play qualifying matches, which is a huge advantage. You obviously get better prize money for coming top 3. And, like Chelsea, they are meant to be the 3rd best team in the country. They want to be the 3rd best team in the country. They're going to want to finish top 3. So until they've got, certainly up until they've got top 3 locked in, there will probably be a minimal rotation. Unless it's forced, as we've kind of seen with Reece James, unless it's minute management, which we might see in, right, hang on, if I bring up my screenshot again. If I bring up my screenshot, we can see that in the game week 36, Chelsea play against Leeds as their midweek game. That is just a few days before the FA Cup final. So in that Leeds game in particular, I would expect pretty heavy rotation from our Chelsea boys. So much so that Chelsea players are arguably not even double game week players in game week 36. Like, I know technically Chelsea have a double game week in 36, but they don't really. There's going to be heavy rotation in game week 36 before they play in the FA Cup, which will take place, at the start of game week 37 technically. So yeah, that's something to consider. Chelsea probably be pretty good until the end of the season. Maybe a little bit of rotation right at the end, as long as they've got that top 3 secured. Arsenal, Spurs, head to head, all for the rest of the season. Qualifying's been scrapped. Is that changed now? I wasn't sure if that came in for this season. Okay, fine. All right, so there is no qualifying matches for top 4, but Chelsea are still going to want to come in top 3. They just are. They're just going to want to start up third. They are going to want to start up third. They're not going to be happy with dropping into 4th. But yeah, no, still. That is a good bit of information. I do apologise for that. So yeah, there is no qualification for English teams anymore. Huge dub for Arsenal. We don't have to qualify when we inevitably finish 4th, which we will. But yeah, Spurs and Arsenal, they're going to be competing for top 4. So they're going to be full strength rest of the season. They've got nothing else to play for. They've got no other competitions. They're going to be going all in. Manchester United's a bit of a weird one. Who knows what's going to happen there? I would just say, Liverpool go for 3 players. Chelsea maybe pick 1 player if you want. Arsenal and Spurs, you can go all in as you want. You can pick 3 players from each of those teams if you want. They're completely safe. Manchester United, I just think just avoids in general at the moment. To be honest, it's just not looking good for them at the moment, and I just think they need a new season to restart. To be honest, probably going to see a bit of rotation there just to try and. To try and see what works. To try and give some other players a go. To be honest, because that's kind of where that's kind of where we're at with them at the moment. But they are still going to want to finish in the top 6. And obviously West Ham, Wolves, they're going to go pretty full strength as well. Now it's after well, I forgot. I should probably say on West Ham, they're going to rotate as well. So West Ham, yes, they have something to play for in the Premier League, but they are also in the Europa League. They're still in the Europa League. They will be playing this week. Actually, let's bring up the fixtures again. They're going to be playing game week 35. They're playing their midweek European game during game week 34 midweek slot. So that's be Thursday. So they'll play their game on Thursday. Then we have game week 35 against Arsenal, and then they have their second leg in game week 36. Which basically, wait, is that right? No, first leg in game week 34. Confusing myself now. First leg of the Europa League in game week 34, then Premier League in 35, and then the second leg in the midweek of game week 35. There we go. So they've got 2 really important Europa League games either side of game week 35. So game week 35 for West Ham, big rotation. So they're obviously going to prioritise the Europa League. It's just so obvious. They clearly want that so badly. So there we go. 35 rotation West Ham. After that, they have got potentially, if they get through, they've got the final. So the Europa League final is in game week 37, I believe. In game week 37? Yeah, I think I've got that right. So the final of Europa League is in game week 37. So again, West Ham could rotate around game week 37. So their game against Man City, heavy rotation there. Maybe even against Norwich, maybe against game week 38, maybe on the final day of the season if they've got it all sewn up and stuff like that. Basically, guys, basically West Ham, even though they've still got something to play for, I don't know. And Bateman in the chat has said, target West Ham in game week 35 as no fit central defenders and Dawson suspended, which is something very important. So yeah, game week 35, there is no fit centre-backs. West Ham have no fit centre-backs and no fit / non-banned centre-backs for game week 35 and play massively important European games either side of game week 35 as well. Basically, Arsenal against West Ham in game week 35 is good. It's good. So guys, if you have Saka, we're going to talk about Saka in a minute, don't worry. We'll talk about Saka before I end the stream. If you have Saka, if you have Arsenal players, keep them. If you don't have Arsenal players, buy them. We need Arsenal players for game week 35 because everything says West Ham are just not going to be doing too well, right? Just not going to. They're just not. It's not good for them. It's not a very good week. But anyway. After that, if we're going back to the league table, get rid of that. There we go. After that, we've just got this massive void of teams with nothing to play for, and that is. Oh, can I highlight? I don't know. Ooh, that is definitely not what I tried to do, but I mean, that kind of works, I guess. So basically, this group of teams, 9th to 16th, I know it's not very legible, you can't really read that, but 9th to 16, Newcastle, Leicester, Brighton, Brentford, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa and Leeds. You would say that all of them are safe from relegation. Maybe are Leeds going to get dragged into the relegation scrap? Depends on tonight's result, I suppose. But okay, right. Let's assume Leeds still have a little bit to play for. They are not. I mean, they're not safe, are they? But you would expect them to stay up now. So 9th through to 15th is the dead zone. It's basically the no-go zone for FPL. It's not. I'm not saying just don't pick any players from them at all. But 9th through 15th, you have to recognise that there is going to be a significant amount of rotation there, particularly as we approach the final couple of games of the season. So, bring up the screenshot again, guys, of the fixtures. We can see a couple of double game weeks there already, can't we? Right? You can see from these teams. So Leicester, they've got double. Newcastle obviously don't have any double game weeks, so you're probably not going to go for Newcastle players anyway. But Leicester, they have a double and are still playing in Europe. So in those double game weeks, there's going to be so much rotation. We probably don't want Leicester players. Probably not interested. I mean, like I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's Schmeichel or nothing. So Schmeichel or nothing for Leicester. Even though the fixtures look fantastic, it's going to be rotation. It's going to be focused on other competitions. Just chill out on those Leicester boys, I think. Brighton, no double game weeks anyway, so, I mean, who cares? So no Brighton players, they're going to be potentially rotating, no double game weeks. Brentford, same situation. I know a lot of you guys want me to tell you to get Tony or Mbeumo or whatever. No double game weeks, nothing to play for, not really feeling it. Southampton, do they have a double game week? No, they don't. So Southampton, another team we can ignore. Crystal Palace, they have a double game week in 37, and they're bad for rotation as it is. They already rotate enough. Imagine the scenes in game week 37. Even though they've got double, it's not going to feel like one because of this, that, and the other. Aston Villa, similar situation. Enough to play for. Even though they've got doubles, there's going to be rotation. It's going to be rotation. Leeds, I think, yeah. A few of you guys in the chat, I think, yeah, you're probably right. Leeds are probably still... you know, I just feel like, you're probably right. They're still not quite safe, right? Are they? You would hope that they would get there, but they might not. So yeah, but I mean, to be honest, no double game weeks for Leeds. Oh well, they do have a double game week in 36, but it's pretty tragic. Arsenal and Chelsea probably not going to target their players. I know a few of you guys in the chat are talking about Leicester players. What do you think about Maddison? What do you think about Vardy? Like I say, just leave it. I mean, Vardy's going to be prioritised for Europe anyway, especially as he's only just coming back from injury. And there's going to be such rotation, and I'm telling you guys, just leave it. As for Aston Villa, I know a few of us want to go for Aston Villa players. I think there could be some players that do play the lot. Coutinho, I would worry about him getting rotated in 37. I think by the time we get to 37, I think, final 3 games of the season, Aston Villa, nothing to play for. There's got to be some rotation, particularly in those attacking positions, because I know there's a few young players in those attacking positions that are pretty good. I think I feel a little bit safer going for the defensive players from Aston Villa because they haven't got as many players in reserve in those positions. Particularly if Digne is still out, that means Ashley Young could be the only left back option. Matty Cash would therefore be the only right back option. So maybe we can go. I would be more confident certainly in the Aston Villa defenders than the attackers, just because I feel like they've got more scope for rotation. They've got more players in reserve. I mean, all right, let's go through the let's get rid of that. Go to Aston Villa. I just want to kind of show you like all of the attackers they've got. I don't think you can order it by position, can you? All right, fine. Let's not order it by position. But obviously Ramsey, Watkins, and I'm talking about not the deeper line midfielders. I'm talking about the more attacking minded midfielders / strikers. We've got Ramsey, Watkins, Ings, Buendia, Coutinho, so we're at 5. Bailey, 6. A name I really struggle to pronounce. Chukwuemeka, who's a really talented young guy. That's 7. Traore actually didn't know he was still injured. I thought he was back. Okay, he's nearly back. So by the time we get the double game weeks, he's going to be back. He's actually not even a bad player either. So that's 8. And I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. But unless there's a few more young players in reserve, which maybe, who's this dude? Not heard of this dude before, but apparently he got some minutes last game, apparently. So maybe he's someone who's going to be coming in to get a little bit of game time in those final games. But yeah, ignoring players who are, who haven't really had any Premier League experience, and there will be players at the end of every season. We do get situations where players without Premier League experience are tested in meaningless games at the end of Premier League seasons. It happens every year. But before that, we've got 8 attackers. We've got 8 attackers that could potentially be rotating around for Aston Villa. So I am a little bit worried about the Aston Villa attack. I'm more confident in their defence, to be honest, just because I feel like they don't have as many options. I mean, at right back, like I say, it's Cash and Young, but Young's playing at left back because Dini's not there. Callum Chambers maybe coming at right back, but he's not really a right back. He's more of a centre back / defensive midfielder sometimes. But yeah, I guess more of a centre back, really, right centre back. After that, there's not really too much going on there. Centre back, maybe there's a little bit of rotation there. We've got Mings, Konsa, and Horse. Is Horse available? No, he's not available. So okay, yeah, maybe the centre backs are safe as well to go for. Yeah. I would say defenders over attacker for Aston Villa. There we go. Right, guys, we're coming up to an hour, so I'm going to start to wrap things up now, for sure. But, yeah, basically, I was going to say on Saka very quickly because I know a lot of people are worried about Saka a little bit. I will just advise you guys to not be too worried about Saka because the injury that he has, I know he's got the what I like to call the Dorito of death. This little symbol, the little exclamation mark symbol next to him, the Dorito of death. He has got that, but it's not because he injured himself in the game against Manchester United. He didn't get injured in that game. He was already injured. He was already carrying a bit of a knock there. He wasn't sure but he really wanted to start the game. He really wanted to play the game against Manchester United. So Arteta thought, Saka, you want to play, mate? You play. So he did. So, yeah, it's not a new injury. It is an injury that already existed. They were thinking about managing that injury in the last game, but they decided to play him. As for next game, obviously Arsenal played on Saturday against Manchester United. Their game against West Ham is on Sunday. So there's actually 8 days recovery between the two games because it's actually the late game. It's gone from the early game on Saturday to the late game on Sunday. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah, 8 days recovery on an injury that is not new. So it's not like he got injured in that last game. He was already carrying that injury. It's just we only found out about it after the game. I think he's going to be okay. And I think it could be a rout as well because, like I say, West Ham playing crucial European games either side of the Arsenal fixtures. There's going to be rotation in that Game Week 35 fixture for West Ham, and that is after the fact that we consider that they have no centre-backs. They're going to have to promote from the youth team and play a youth team centre-back. They're going to have to play players out of position. We're going to see Creswell. We're going to see Ben Johnson playing at centre-back. It's going to be a little bit messy. They might even want to rest Creswell, even though he's one of the only players who can play centre-back there, even though he's a left-back. There is a situation where maybe even Creswell doesn't play there because they want to save Creswell for the more important games. And maybe they just give up on that one. They write that game off. And if they write that game off, could be a really good score for Arsenal there. Nick Giordano says, I'm going to start a YouTube channel called FPL Fate and not only copy your every move, but copy your every move, except in a Jamaican accent. You know what? I'd watch that as well. I'd watch that. I mean, maybe I need to get ahead of you, Nick Giordano, and just start doing a Jamaican accent on this channel. And then, yeah, one step ahead of you, mate. One step ahead of you. But there we go, guys. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about covered for today. Hopefully that's all right. Thank you guys for contributing in the chat as well. Massively appreciate you guys. As always, you know, the support that you give on this channel is just wicked. I love you guys. I love you guys. All of you, other than the guys who copy teams. Now, I'm joking. Now, you're all absolutely wicked. I really do appreciate that. On the revealing team thing, I will just tell you the truth. You know, I always want to be as direct with you guys as possible. Look, I have got. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It is so remote. It's so unlikely, but there is a chance that I win FPL this year. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's almost certainly not. But there is a small chance that I do win FPL. And I know for a fact that if I keep telling you exactly my transfer moves for the remaining weeks of the season, and remember, there's only 4 game weeks left. We are right at the end. I've shown you pretty much every week this so far this season. There's 4 weeks left. So guys, if you could please just be patient with me. I really do just want to give it a go. This is my once in a lifetime opportunity to win FPL. Probably not going to happen, but what I can tell you is it's never going to happen again. That I can tell you. It's never going to happen again. So I am going to have to be a little bit secretive about my final transfer moves and my final captaincy decisions. It has to be that way. And I hate that it has to be that way. But people are going to watch these videos. People are going to kind of try and eye up my moves to try and kind of keep me out of the game a little bit, which is fine. That's what I would do if I had the opportunity and I knew that I had access to other people's teams before the game week even starts. I would check those guys out as well. So I hope you guys can forgive me for being a little bit more secretive for 4 game weeks, guys. I promise you, new season. I'll try and be much more open again. I'll try to be much more open again. What I will say is that I'm still going to try and give you guys the best advice I possibly can. I just can't tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing with my own team. So you guys have questions, I will answer them. If you guys want to know, buy, sell, keep, avoid, I will still give my most honest opinion on who the best buys are, who the best sells are, etc., etc. 100 experts. It's not me anyway. So, we'll still take the data from that and show you guys. I'm still going to do my absolute best to give you the best content I possibly can. I just please, 4 game weeks. Just give me 4 game weeks and I'll be back. I'm sorry. I have to do it. Yeah, of course, I will be revealing after deadline and stuff like that. So no biggie there. But yeah, hope you guys understand. If you do, then you're absolute legends. And, I appreciate you guys a lot. And next season, we'll go back to some less desirable FPL finishes, I suppose. But there we go. Right, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Just a quick one before we go. Some people are going to be looking at me very sternly here. Some of you guys are going to be like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I have actually opened up a TikTok account. So yeah, I'm going to be putting a few videos on TikTok as well. That's going to be kind of, completely different content from on here. It's probably going to be some funny stuff, maybe some FPL tips as well. I'm just going to make random little videos on there as well. So if you have TikTok, if you're interested in TikTok at all, I am on TikTok now as of a few days ago. So there's a few videos on there already if you want to go check them out. It's at FPL Mate. So just the standard username. The link is in the description of this stream as well if you want to just go click somewhere. But yeah, do make sure you go check me out on TikTok as well if that's something that you're interested in. But aside from that, yeah, guys, if you wouldn't mind liking the stream before you disappear, massive shout out to those of you guys who watch live, but also a massive shout out to you guys who watch the stream replays as well. You guys are all awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here. That's pretty much it. I'll see you tomorrow for buy, sell, keep, avoid. Yeah, that's right. Buy, sell, keep, avoid for Game Week 35 coming up tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Maybe see you over on social media. Enjoy the football tonight. Good luck for the rest of the game week. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.